In this video, we're adding swatches to our collection page. This customization is compatible with version 15 of Dawn and the other free Shopify themes like Refresh, Sense, Origin, and others. And we actually uploaded a version of collection swatches not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago, but that was compatible with version 14 of Dawn and the other free Shopify themes. But the next day after we uploaded it, Shopify came out with Dawn version 15, and that also included some changes, so we had to make some adaptations to it. Here it is. Now, you might already want collection swatches on your collection page, so you already know why you want this. But if you're on the fence or you're not sure why you want to add it to your store, well, what this does is it can help your customers browse your products without actually going into the product page. So it just removes a couple of clicks of extra friction for customers to see your product, which could in turn lead to more sales by increasing the conversion rate. So let's say, for example, your conversion rate is 3%, so that 3 out of every 100 visitors that come to your store buy something. And if you just get one more person out of that 100 to buy, then you're up to 4%. But that's actually a 33% boost on your conversion rate. So that's 33% more sales. So sometimes these small changes can actually have a really big impact. I also wanted to thank all of you for watching these tutorials, especially those of you that have subscribed. It really means a lot to us. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? We have lots of free tutorials on this channel that help upgrade your store so you can sell more stuff online. And if you can't find what you're looking for on our channel or on our website, and you want to hire us for some personalized help, then head over to theprompted.co/hire us and book a call with us. I'll add the links to everything in the description below. All right, let's add swatches to our collection page. Okay, so let's first do a quick tour of the customization and the settings and features available, and then we'll get into the customization. Now, we're going to go through all the steps in this tutorial for anyone who's here for the first time. If you're coming from a previous version or you've added this before and you are familiar with some of these features, I would still go through all of this just as a refresher, or maybe you're coming from an older version and you want to see what's new or what's been changed in this version. But I will go a little bit faster just because this is a very similar video to our Dawn version 14 compatible swatches. It's just that we've changed the code a little bit to make it compatible for version 15. So here it is. Okay, so we're on our demo store here. You can see we have our swatches in the product cards. And if we just click on one of these images, then you can see here that it changes the color. Now, if we go into our quick add, we can also pop up the quick add window, and we can actually see that when we have our selection here, let's say it's red, it will automatically choose the red image here. Likewise, if we go into the product page, it'll just come to the selected variant in here as well. And so that's it in a nutshell. You'll also see it in other parts of the store. So let's say in this case, you have these product recommendations. Our product cards are being shown here. If you go to the home page, then the product cards here will also have the swatches and they will work. And finally, if you go to the search results, then you're going to see that it also works on the search results. So we have the product cards showing up on the collection page, the product page, the home page, search results, and the swatches are going to work in each one of these cases. So if you like what you see here, then let's look at how to add this to your store. I'll take you through it step by step. Okay, so we're in our themes area of our Shopify admin, and we're going to work on this theme right here. And so what this is Dawn version 15 with the product page swatches already added into this theme. And so if you haven't already, follow our product page swatches tutorial because it's actually a prerequisite for this video. Link is in the description. The reason why we want to do that tutorial first is because there's some foundational setup on how the swatches are defined that we're also going to leverage in this tutorial for the collection swatches. This way we have one place where we can define the images or the hex codes of our swatches that can apply across our website for the product page or the collection page swatches. Okay, so I'm assuming you're done now. whether you are coming back from that video, just finished adding it in, or you've already done it and you're waiting for this video, well, let's continue. Okay, so like I mentioned, this is for Dawn version 15. Our previous video on collection swatches was Dawn version 14, so make sure you're using the right version of this customization with the right theme. But assuming you're on Dawn version 15 or any of the other free themes, also version 15, then what you can do is you can first duplicate your theme. Now I can't do this, it's grayed out because I'm actually at my store limit, but if you aren't in that scenario, then you can actually duplicate. So duplicate first, because if anything goes wrong, you don't have to worry about how to revert back. You just easily go back to the duplicated version. If you are at the limit, just delete a theme. You can download it first so you can save it, and then you can remove it from your store if you don't need it. So let's just quickly view our store. And we can see here, if we go to the collection page, we don't have any swatches applied here. So that hasn't been added in. That's what we're going to do now. So you've already duplicated your theme. Now you can edit code. And so we're going to go through here and make some changes to some existing files. We're going to create some new files. So here we go. Actually, one thing to do before we start here is let's actually go into the theme customization settings. And we're going to head over to the collection page. And we're going to verify a couple of settings first. So if we go to the product grid, there's this checkbox here for show second image on hover. And we're going to want to uncheck that. So this is good already. And if we go to our product page, we're also going to want to make sure that we uncheck this box for second image on hover. So this one is checked. Let's uncheck that and saving. And let's go to the home page. Let's check this as well. Okay, so we're going to uncheck that. Let's also make this all clothing. Okay, we're going to save. And then we're also going to check our search results. Okay, unchecked there. So this is what one of the first steps we wanted to do, because we're actually modifying how those images are showing on the product card. So if we hover over it, it just kind of makes it act a little bit funny. So that's why we do want to turn that all off. Okay, so now we can go back to our code editor, and we're going to start off with the settings_schema. And here we're going to look for the word card. We're going to come down to the settings here where we're going to see the card style settings. That's actually right here. So product cards, you can see style, image padding here. So we're just going to come below this. So you can kind of highlight this bracket here. We're going to see where it ends right there. And we can copy and paste. And we're just going to save that. Next, we're going to create a new snippet file. So we'll go to the snippets folder, add a new snippet, and we're going to call this card variant swatch custom.liquid. And we're going to copy and paste our code into here and save. Now we're going to create a new asset. So this is a new asset here. Create a blank file. We're going to use JavaScript, and we're going to call this card product variant selection custom.js. And we're going to copy and paste our code into here and save. And we're going to create another asset file now. And this is the component card variant swatch custom. And we're going to copy and paste that and save. Okay, so what we've done here is we've created a few new files. So the first one is going to control how the swatches are going to behave. And we're going to render this file in our collection pages through the product card code. Next is some JavaScript to control what happens when we click those swatches. And then third is a CSS file, which is going to control the styling. So that's the shapes and the sizes of our swatches. Okay, so now we're going to move on and we're going to edit some of the existing files. So the first one is going to be the card product.liquid file. And so this is what defines the actual cards here. So this is a card, and it's going to define what that looks like. And so we are going to modify it because we want to add our swatches in. And so right up near the top, we're going to, beneath the CSS files here, we're going to paste in our code. Next, we're going to be looking for card __ content. And we're going to see it show up once here. We're going to see it show up a second time here. So just above the second instance, we're going to create some space and we're going to paste our second code block here. And then we're going to take these two lines, so the card content and card information, and we're going to actually add some additional classes. And so we can actually just replace them with the code here by pasting it down. And now we've added some additional classes, which are going to just help it get styled a little bit better once we add swatches in. So we're just modifying how the spacing between the swatches that are coming in and this product title. Okay, so let's save that. And sorry, there's actually one more thing we need to do on this file. So let's come down to the bottom. And there is this else statement followed by some liquid code, liquid assign ratio 1. And so we're just going to come right above that else statement, and we're going to paste in this if statement with a span in there, which is going to close the opened span if we are activating our product card swatches. Okay, so now we're done with this file. Okay, so next we're going to the theme.liquid file, and we're going to come here. We're going to look for these JavaScript, and we're going to come right below it, and let's copy and paste our code into here, and we'll save that. And this just calls the JavaScript files, because the product cards actually show up on different parts of the store, right? Your collection page, your product page, your search pages, your home page. So we want to actually have this available on different parts of our store, which is why we'll do this on the theme.liquid file, which is accessible by your entire store. Okay, so finally we're going to do our search results, and we're going to do our related products. So just one small change in each of those files. It's the same change. So let's do that right now. So on our search, we're going to look for this UL element with the class grid product dash grid. Right, so there's a UL element grid dash product grid, and we're going to add our data ID in there. So let's copy and paste that right there and save. And then in related products .liquid, we are also going to look for grid product dash grid. There it is. And we will paste in our data ID and save. All right, so last change. We're going to the global.js file, and we're going to look for the class product recommendations. And we're going to come to this load recommendations method. And then in this if statement here with the recommendations, we are going to paste this line right here. Okay, and then we're going to save. And we have one more method to add into here, which is this one right there, execute scripts, right? And so we're using this line to call here, and we're going to make sure that it's a method that's at the same level as these other methods here. And so just like before, if you highlight one of these curly brackets, it's going to show you where it closes on the other end. So we can save that. Okay, and so what we've done here is we've just added a little bit of script to handle how the product recommendations work, because they are a little bit different than the regular product cards. So we have to add this little bit of JavaScript here so that we can get the swatches to behave properly. Okay, so one last thing to do is we actually have a typo. You can see here, this is supposed to say selection, but we have an extra S in there. And you can actually see in our theme.liquid file, it says here, cannot find this file because we have this typo here. So we need to correct that first. So we can come here to our custom file, and then we can select and edit the file. And now if we come back to the theme.liquid file, that should be resolved. Let's refresh. Okay, perfect. So it can now find the correct JavaScript file. And so now if we come back to our collection page, and if we refresh, nothing is actually going to happen. And that's because we still need to enable the swatches in our theme editor. So if we come to our theme editor, you can actually go to the settings and then open up the product card swatches menus area. If you don't see it here yet, just refresh your page and it should show up because we added it in previously with our settings _ schema.json code. And so in here, you have this checkbox, enable product card swatches. And you can see here, once we save, or even before we save, that the swatches are showing up. And so now if we come back to our collection page, refresh, you can see here we have our swatches, and they will fully work. They're clickable, and we can do a couple things to show that it works everywhere. So let's turn on our quick add. Let's refresh again. Okay, so if we turn this to green, go to quick add, we're going to show up on the green page. We go into the product, we show up on the green variant. We come down here, we can see the swatches are working over here. Go to the home page, the swatches are going to work over here. So essentially all the product cards are going to be working properly. Now, there's a couple of settings in here that we can configure. So the first one is this lazy load variant images. So what this is doing is, if you notice on your page that maybe when you click on the variant that it just takes a little bit longer to load up the page, it's just maybe not as responsive, what you could potentially do is you can turn on the lazy load variant images. And what this will do is when the page loads, it will actually load up all of the variant images in the background so that when you click on it, it'll become immediately available. When it's off, what it does is it only retrieves the image once you click on the variant. So it's faster to load initially, but then it will call the extra images as needed. So sometimes the responsiveness might be a little bit lower. Whereas if you lazy load all of them, it might be a little bit slower to load the page at first, but then once you click it, it will be more responsive. So there's kind of pros and cons on both sides. If you have a really large product catalog with lots of variants, probably not best to lazy load because now you're loading tons of images in the background. But if you have a smaller catalog, then it might actually be handy to lazy load them. So test that on your own store. You're gonna have to test out to see which one performs better. But the option's there for you to try it out. Next is the color variant option name. So we have set this to color by default. If you have different variant names, you can change it to something else. So for example, if we change this to material, we can see here that only one of these products have the material variant option, but if they all had it, then they would show up as material in here as well. So if you've got style, material, anything else, you just have to match it to your product's variant option. So if we come back out to the admin, go to our products, and then go into our product, that's this variant option name right here, color. But if you have material here instead, then you can just type that into here. It just has to match exactly, and then we'll pull the proper variant option that you want to use. Next, we have here a variant swatch map meta object. I will come back to that, so let's skip that for now. Next, we have the shape. So let's bring this back to color. And we can change the swatch shape. So we've got circle right now. We can change that to square. And we can also adjust the size. So bigger, smaller. It's completely up to you on how you want to do that. Okay, let's come back to circle. Okay, so let's just save that for now. Now we have this variant swatch mapping meta object. If you've made it this far in this video, this is already probably familiar to you because you have used this meta object in the product page swatches. But just as a quick recap, let's look at this again. So we're going to come to our meta objects area, and we're going to open up our variant swatch map. And we can see here that there's an entry variant swatch mapping. And then in here, there's a JSON. So this JSON will define the variant option and the values, whether we use just the default variant image. So we haven't defined anything in here. We leave it blank. So you can see that here with the green shirt is the variant image. Or we might use a hex code, right? So for black and red, we're using a solid hex code. You can see that right there, black and red. So that's why they all look a little bit different. And that's how it's defined. But we also have this other feature here. So if we come back to our products and go to the original t-shirt, you can see here, if we scroll down to the bottom, we have this variant swatch map override option. And if in here, you can actually select one of the meta object entries that we created. And so you can see here, the prompted text sweatpants actually has a different set of colors, right? So the black is actually an image of a flower. The blue is a solid image instead of the flower here. Green is this other image, right? So you have a different set of swatches for this product. And so you can actually override the default variant images by setting your override. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the prompted text sweatpants. And we can scroll down here and we can see that we actually assigned the override value, original sweatpants, into our meta field, which is going to, which is actually defined by this JSON code right here, right? And so we have a different set of, it's going to have the same structure, but we define the image to be this, the green variant to be this image. We're defining blue to be a hex code, right? So that's why it looks a little bit different, because we have a different JSON set for this product here. Okay, so you should now have added swatches to your collection page, your featured collections, your recommended products, and search results. This should work with the quick add features, and you have a number of settings to change the shape and size of the swatches, and you have full control over how you defined what is in the swatches, whether it is across all products or you can override individual products with different swatches as well. Let me know in the comments below if you found this tutorial helpful. We tried to pack as many features in here for you so that you can control it the way you want, and we worked really hard on this, so it would really mean a lot to us if you could subscribe and like this video. And also, if you want to hire us for any personalized help, You can book a call with us at theprompted.co/hire us. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.